markets. Well, thank you, Ritu, for those details. Moving on, and also on what's brewing, UK-based business management platform Tide has secured $120 million in a strategic investment led by TPG, valuing the company at $1.5 billion. Now, the fresh capital will fuel Tide's international expansion, accelerate product innovation, and deepen its push into agentic AI. India has emerged as Tide's fastest growing market, with over 800,000 SMEs onboarded in just 2.5 years. To talk to us about Tide's next phase of growth and its global ambitions, joining me now is its CEO, Oliver Prill. Oliver, welcome to Startup Street. Tide has secured $120 million from TPG, like I mentioned, at a valuation of $1.5 billion. Tell us, what does this fresh capital mean for you at this stage of growth? TPG has invested through the RISE funds, which focuses on impact. So how does Tide's model and mission align with the thesis on financial inclusion?
Absolutely. So Tide is, as you say, the leading business management platform, and we really focus on small entrepreneurs and enabling them on their finance and admin. And I think the RISE Fund was particularly attracted that is really helping financial inclusion and, building economic prosperity. And you mentioned India, and India is now not only our fastest growing, but in terms of members, actually our largest market.
All right, Oliver, picking up from what you just said, India has become Tide's fastest growing, largest market with more than 800,000 SMEs onboarded in just 2.5 years. What's driving this adoption, Oliver, and how critical is India to Tide's global strategy? Also, what does the next phase of Tide's India journey look like? Are we going to see newer products tailored for this market?
Yeah, so I think that the key thing is we actually estimate that India has 130 million MSMEs, so there's a large part in the informal sector. And what Tide really supports is the formalization of this. And, the UPI, the GST, ADM, and various other things that, the Indian government is doing is leading to this enormous adoption of, formalized financial services by micro SMEs. And Tide is benefiting from that and in many ways facilitating that and hopefully making its contribution to the Indian economy.
So, Oliver, if you could elaborate on the newer products that you're tailoring for the Indian market especially.
Yeah, so, we have a current account and a card, and you can already do invoicing, bill pay. And so we're going to massively expand that into acquiring. So we already allow merchants to accept UPI payments. So we're going to introduce POS devices, savings. We already are one of the larger credit intermediaries in the UK. We have launched that proposition in India. And so credit is very high on the agenda as well in terms of our rollout in India.
Okay. Now, beyond India and the UK, Tide has entered Germany and most recently France. What are the learnings from your mature markets that you're taking into these newer markets? And Oliver, what kind of impact are you hoping to create in these new markets?
So the key learning for us is to work off one global tech platform. So you mentioned this earlier, and you said about the other tech players. We are really working off the same platform, and so the functionality we have in the UK, we can rapidly deploy in other markets. We're working through adapters, so with minimal adaptation. So that's how we've been very able to very quickly roll things out in India, and that's why we are rolling out things fastly and quickly in France and Germany. The lesson learned from India is really, and to an extent France and Germany, is that SMEs everywhere have the same problem. They're really underserved by the banks. The owner managers really want to get on with running their business, and so they need minimum involvement in finance and admin. And that's what we are here to do, right? We're really there to help them with their finance and admin so their businesses can thrive.
Sure. Oliver, Tide's mission has been to save SMEs time and money by solving business management tasks end to end. So take us through your tech edge. What kind of efficiencies are we talking about? And what's next on the product roadmap?
Yeah, exactly. So small businesses really have jobs to be done, right? And so think about it. I write an invoice as a small SME. I then want to factor the invoice. I need to control the current account to see whether the money was paid, or that we need to automatically chase it, put all of that into your accounting system. So that's what Tide does, right? It makes everything work seamlessly together and therefore saves time. And so we think the time saving, is something like, 2/3 of the time that it would take to do this manually. So there's an enormous time-saving element that then business owners, and that's typically what our customers are, can actually use to actually go and help build out their business as opposed to spending it on useless finance and admin.
All right. But what's next on the roadmap then?
Yeah, so I can't give you the exact products, right? But you had mentioned what we're doing at pace is actually AI adoption. So a lot of the platform is already uses AI in one form or another. We're going to massively scale that up. We have a number of products that we want to launch. I can't talk about them now, but they will be accelerated through this investment. And also, thirdly, the big growth factors, internationalization. So our India business, as you reported, is growing very, very rapidly, and we want to give it all the resources we can possibly give it to make sure it continues to thrive the way we've seen it thrive over the last 2.5 years.
All right. Oliver, you spoke about accelerating growth at Tide, and you are going to accelerate Tide's investment in agentic AI. How do you see AI transforming SME-focused fintech, and what edge does Tide have here?
So the key thing, I think agentic AI, right, in many ways will make things even faster and more easy to use, right? So I don't think it fundamentally changes our strategy. We are, in the end, in finance and admin, this is not something that can be disintermediated very quickly. Quite the opposite. I think with agentic AI and this enormous pool of data that we have, we can actually accelerate the adoption of our platform. Simply put, what LLMs are very good is understanding the public world. Right? We have a very strong private world model with all the proprietary SME data we've got. So training generative AI models or getting them to use proprietary data and using it in our advanced processes on finance and admin is actually an ideal combination. So we want to combine that for member impact.
All right. Tide already supports 1.6 million members worldwide. Oliver, what's the long-term ambition? If you could take us through the revenue growth targets, the revenue mix you envision, and how you see the business scaling over the next few years.
So we want to be in a whole number of markets and be recognized as the global #1 in business management platforms for the small SMEs, right, that we actually serve. And so this is a big milestone in that. You talked about the 1.6 million members we've got already, out of which 800 in India. We think by year.
All right. Oliver, on that note, it's time for me to wrap up our conversation, but many thanks for joining us on